What's up, guys? So today we are going to be talking about T4 orange ability upgrades. In particular, I get asked a lot, what do you think are the best tier 4 upgrades? What do you think of the top 10 tier 4 upgrades? So that is exactly what we're going to answer in this video. Let's get into it. Today we're going to be talking about the top T4 orange ability upgrades. In particular, where we are getting the information for this list. This time, we are actually sourcing it from the MSF.gg Discord bot. So if you're not familiar, MSF.gg is my favorite companion site for Marvel Strike Force, has all sorts of good information on it, and they make a Discord bot as well. And so a lot of people have uploaded their rosters and scanned it in or manually entered their data. And so it has a lot of player rosters on the site. And so they basically have looked at, of all the players that have the character, how many of those players actually invested the T4s into a given ability. These are not my personal top 10 most recommended T4 upgrades. This is just the most common ones according to the community. And maybe in a follow-up video, we'll do a top 10 specifically of the upgrades that I recommend. So this is a by the players top 10 T4 upgrades. Coming in at number 10, the Ebony Maw Special, Insidious Whisper. Putting the T4 in this ability improves the defense up to self and all allies to a 2-turn defense up to self and all allies. And in short, this is really, really impactful. A full extra turn of defense up for the entire team is a lot more protection. Defense up is reducing incoming damage by 50%. So it's amazing value, and it is on the legendary member of what is currently the top team in the entire game. So it's definitely a worthwhile upgrade, no doubt. Coming in at number 9, the Phoenix Ultimate. Now this one's interesting because it actually changes a couple things. When you upgrade the Phoenix Ultimate, it adds 50% damage, but more importantly, it changes it from clearing 3 positive effects on the primary target to clearing all positive effects. And considering that this ability is backed by 50,000% extra focus, you're definitely going to get that buff removal. So it's a terrific value just as an individual massive dispel. However, the other reason that you see this being upgraded, and in my opinion, the better reason, is because this also changes Dark Phoenix's ability level on her ultimate. And the Dark Phoenix ultimate is still easily one of the most impactful abilities in the entire game, hands down. In addition to it doing an extra 50% damage to all targets, it is just like with the Phoenix ability, instead of clearing 3 positive effects from each target, it is going to clear all positive effects from all targets. And again, because this is backed by 50,000% extra focus, and because it's unavoidable, this is literally just removing all positive effects from the enemy side of the field with very few exceptions. So it is just an amazing value for an ability. Not only does it make your Phoenix better, but it makes your Dark Phoenix better, and this is her signature most impactful move. Coming in at number 8, Thanos Passive. Thanos Passive is another interesting one. Like Phoenix, you actually get double benefit, both as Thanos and as empowered Thanos. So on normal Thanos, it goes from on death of an enemy, 75% chance to generate 2 ability energy for self or adjacent cosmic ally, to guaranteed on death of an enemy, generate that 2 ability energy. So right off the bat, amazing value, especially in raids, especially if you're using like a BKT team and you're getting a lot of kills. This is going to end up generating so much ability energy. Ability energy can radically change the outcome of a fight. So this is just already a terrific value. However, for empowered Thanos, it does even more. For empowered Thanos, it is going to do 2 different things. Firstly, whenever any Black Order member drops below half health, instead of filling empowered Thanos' speed bar by 40%, it's going to fill it by 50%. So that's potentially an extra 40% speed bar in any given match. And considering how insanely powerful empowered Thanos is, that's already a great value. And then additionally, instead of just lowering the damage of the entire enemy team by 10%, it's going to lower their damage and armor by 10%. So it's just going to allow the entire Black Order team to do even more damage. And again, it's a pretty big upgrade on what is currently the top team in the entire game. So it's definitely worth it. Coming in at number 7, Black Bolt's Basic. Black Bolt's Basic is a good value for a lot of reasons. Firstly, just because Black Bolt is an insanely powerful character. And so giving him the damage increase that you get from this T4 is already a pretty sizable improvement, just again, because his base damage stat is so good. However, the utility that this upgrade brings is incredible. So if the primary target has slow, instead of flipping one negative effect on self, it jumps up to flipping 2 negative effects on self. And that can be a huge game changer. Going from having defense down to defense up is huge. Going from being heal block to having death proof is huge. A really big one, going from offense down to offense up, and this flip happens before the actual damage from the attack takes place, can be monumental. So just right away for that utility, it's already amazingly worth. And then it carries over additional benefit because instead of clearing one positive effect from the enemy, it will now clear 2 positive effects from the enemy. So it's also a better dispel on the enemies, in addition to hitting harder, and in addition to removing more negative effects from Black Bolt himself if he's hitting a slowed target. I should also mention that counters and assists and ISO 8 bonus attacks as well are all tied to Black Bolt's basic attack. So especially if you're running him as a striker and you're using those bonus attacks, which you definitely should be, you're going to go from removing one buff with the normal attack and removing a second buff with the bonus attack to removing 2 each time. So 4 buffs being removed is just really, really impactful. So yeah, this upgrade is such a good value. Coming in at number 6, Carnage passive. So the Carnage passive is just incredibly impactful to the symbiote team. I refer to it as the engine that keeps the symbiote team running, and that is whenever an enemy drops below a quarter of their health, he's going to fill speed bar for himself and the entire team. And this T4 upgrade takes it from him giving everyone 20% speed bar to giving everyone 30% speed bar. And so to put that in perspective, when you have it without the T4, he will get 1 full turn of extra speed every time you drop 5 people below a quarter health. Whereas if you do this upgrade, you'll be very close to getting a full turn after dropping only 3 people below 25% health. So it's really, really, really impactful. And again, this goes to the entire team. So it just results in so many more extra turns, and extra turns are everything in a turn-based game. And with the fact that the symbiotes are currently just part of the absolute top raid team in the game right now, there's no denying this is an awesome value. Coming in at number 5, Black Bolt's ultimate. Black Bolt is making his second appearance on this top 10 list, this time for Result, and this is a straight and to the point T4 upgrade. Putting the T4 in this ability adds 120% damage to his massive AoE. It's really that simple. It just does a lot more damage. It hits all enemies. It is not that uncommon for him to have offense up while he's doing this, either being granted it from one of the other characters you're running on the team, or just based on the fact that he was offense downed and he flipped that himself on a previous turn. He has one of the highest base damage stats in the entire game. He does a massive amount of damage. Hurting people is really his only job, and this is his most devastating ability, and adding an extra 120% damage to it is just a monumental amount of damage. So if you're using Black Bolt quite a bit, which you should be if you have him, this is pretty much a no-brainer T4 upgrade. Coming in at number 4, Ultron Special. Ultron Special is immensely important T4 ability upgrade, especially if you're running Ultron. Ultron I still refer to as the one-man army, and it's for precisely this reason. He's able to summon Ultron minions with his special ability, and upgrading this ability improves several things. Primarily, it guarantees a third Ultron bot summon, and it also improves the stats of the Ultron bots. And so there's a lot to unpack here, but so as far as improving their stats, Ultron summons are unique in that of all of the different types of summons and clones in the game, they get the most generous stat reduction. You may notice that the Ultron summons are not that easy to kill. You can take them out, but they usually can handle a few hits, and that's because they don't get a massive health reduction like other summons, and they spawn in with defense up. So it's really good value right off the bat to just improve the overall health of these summons and keep them on the field, because they all do really useful things. One of them can clear buffs. One of them is rewinding people's turn meter, which is great. One of them is literally just giving ability energy or removing all debuffs from Ultron. They all have really good utility being alive. All of the Ultron bots see improvement when you upgrade this ability as well. In some way, shape, or form, their abilities are upgraded by upgrading this ability, whether it's making their basic hit harder or adding extra functionality. It literally improves all of the bots, both as far as their abilities and their stats. The other huge reason why you want this upgrade, though, having more bots on the field gives Ultron more buffs, and Ultron having more buffs means Ultron gets to use more ultimates. And the more times he uses his ultimate, the more ability energy he gets back, which allows him to summon more bots. And it kind of just feeds into itself in this incredibly vicious cycle of what makes Ultron so scary. Ultron's an amazing character, and this should definitely be your first T4 upgrade on this guy, no question. Coming in at number 3, Symbiote Spider-Man's passive. This one is pretty straightforward. When you put the T4 in this ability, it goes from giving himself an extra 10% max health, as well as Hero Spider-Verse and Symbiote allies, to giving them all 30% max health, himself included. An extra 20% max health is really, really good value for a T4, especially when it applies to an entire team, but it's actually really, really valuable on this team for several reasons. But the main one is that this team receives a ton of healing and has a ton of drain. The more health you can support, the more you can take advantage of all the healing that you can do. So having that extra padding to be able to drop low and still heal back up is just monumental. Combine that with the fact that, again, Symbiote Spider-Man is an essential member of what is hands down the top raid team in the game right now. It is definitely worth having an extra 20% max health, no question. Coming in at number 2, Phoenix passive. Just like with the other Phoenix ability on this list, it's already good value when it's being used to upgrade Phoenix, but you get the free upgrade on Dark Phoenix as well that just takes it way over the top. So when you put the T4s in for normal Phoenix, it's going to add an extra 10% damage and 10% max health, not only to Phoenix, but to the entire Uncanny X-Men team. So right off the bat, you're getting amazing value. Just an extra 10% damage and health to the entire team is really, really good. And then arguably even more impactfully, when you put the T4 in Dark Phoenix's passive, you're going to get another 50% damage when she spawns. And instead of defense downing the entire enemy team, you're going to defense down the entire enemy team for 2 turns. And so having an entire extra rotation to hit into enemies with defense down is really, really impactful, especially because on Dark Phoenix's second turn, she uses her ultimate ability, which is absolutely devastating. So using that into an enemy team that is still covered in defense downs from the turn before, very, very impactful, easily, amazingly worth the T4s, no question. And finally, coming in at number 1, Black Bolt's passive. Black Bolt's passive improves quite a bit with the T4, so we'll start from the top. Firstly, when an enemy drops below 25% health, instead of hitting them for 150% damage, he's going to hit them for 200% damage, which is just more free damage anytime someone drops into red health. And considering how much damage Black Bolt actually does, that's quite a bit. If the enemy is villain tech, instead of hitting him for 300% damage, he's going to hit him for 400% damage, which is, again, just a ton of free damage that you run into a lot. And keep in mind that anyone that Black Bolt kills, he prevents from reviving. So if you give him more damage, you increase the likelihood that he will kill the enemy, and then that enemy won't be able to be revived, which is super useful. And then finally, it also grants an additional 20% max health both to himself and the rest of his Inhuman allies. So in addition to all the extra damage, the entire team just gets 20% more max health, which is hugely, hugely impactful. So for that reason, this is the number 1 T4 upgrade as determined by the community. All right, so there you have it, the top 10 orange tier 4 ability upgrades as voted by the community. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below if there's a particular T4 upgrade that you thought definitely needed to be included on this list but wasn't. And again, this was not my personal list, so we may in the future do a separate list of my top 10 personal recommendations for the best T4s. But otherwise, that's all I've got for you. So thank you guys very much for checking this video out. Huge shout out to LivePool for editing this video. Shout out to Twitch chat for hanging out while we recorded it. Also, huge shout out to MSF.gg for making an awesome Discord bot. And again, you can get that by going to MSF.gg and checking it out for yourself. Be sure to like, subscribe, and lick your ceiling fan. And I will see you guys real soon. Until next time. Peace.